Welcome to Safety is Everywhere YouTube channel. Dear friends, don't forget to subscribe this channel and share the link with your safety professional friends.
Hello everybody. Today we are starting a new topic difficult for engineers, which is human error. So today's topic is human error, its classification and causes. So what are the things we will be discussing in half an hour to 40 minutes of time? So we will start with basic elements of production system and then human contribution in production. Then if you want to make a production system safer, so what are the controls that you should adopt? Then with these two important issues discussed, we will go for human error, and we start with generic definition of human error, then some working definition, then classification of human error, then we discuss the causes very broadly and some of the brain bottlenecks, finally generic error modeling system. So, the lecture material was prepared with the help of many books, primarily the book written by James Reason, that is Human Error, in 1990, and then other books like Probabilistic Risk Assessment and Management for Engineer and Scientist by Komamoto Henley, then Risk Analysis, Method Theory, Methods Application by Marvin Roussant. So, some other articles also we have considered, and those references or those sources I have given it under references. So, being a very difficult topic, so I will try to give you as much information as possible related to this. Some of the things you require practice to understand, means some kind of projects you require to do to go get into the detailed explanation and conceptualization of many of the concepts. I will try my level best to give some justice to this lecture. So, this is what is the element of production and as well as the human factors consideration, and that this was taken from James Reason 1990, that human error book. So, here you see this is the production part, production system. Okay. So, any production system, the basic purpose is ultimately you will be producing products. It may be end products, it may be intermediate items final product, and then this production system requires a organization, and in this organization there will be from the top to bottom there is a hierarchy. For example, you will find out that in the broadly if you consider, then you will find out that the top level decision makers who are maybe your CEO or managing director and vice presidents and also independent in charges. Then immediately below to that, who will be looking into the implementation of the decisions or strategies that are prepared by the decision makers. So, they are called line management. Then ultimately the line management job, these are at the shop floor level, that will be in the day to day execution will be done by the workers. Okay. So, then we can say that the long term strategic decision makers, then middleman line management who will basically implement all the strategies and decisions, and then workers who will actually do the work. Okay. So, with this simple structure, I want to discuss this. First one is the production system which is developed based on, actually the plant is also developed taking external inputs, and different goals are set, and accordingly finite resources are hired or borrowed, and they are nurtured and finally used. These are basically all those decisions comes under decision makers. Okay. Now, then those decisions, when the line management implements, this implementation through operation, maintenance, training, there are so many line management functions. So, all those things will be done designated responsible group of people who are coming under line management. And then what happened? There can be error in the decision making, there can be error by the line management. So, those things ultimately leads to accident, and if I make the analogy between this and this, whatever decision makers errors are, we say these are the fallible decisions. These are all latent failure, or we can say the root causes. Now, these decisions also enhance the error or the again the failures in the line management. Again, line management may introduce some more failures. So, these are basically line management deficiencies. So, this is also a latent failure. So there definitely some of the latent failures here because of the fallible decisions, and some may be added, but traditionally we say this is root cause, this is the intermediate causes. Okay. Now, these failures ultimately what happen, or successful operation is of these in terms of production. If we see successful operation of these this lead to precondition which is amenable for successful production. What are the preconditions? Reliable equipment, skilled motivated workforce, competent people, so many things ultimately leads to productive activities, or it basically does the productive activities, means integrating the component of the work system positively, effectively, that ultimately lead to the production. And whatever may be the reliability is there in all these layers, this is the root layer, next layer, followed by next layer, but there is possibility of because you are dealing with the production system, there will be hazards. So, the decision maker or the designer of the plant, they also look into foreseeable hazards, and some defenses are put. These defenses are for successful production. These are not directly contributing to production, and that is why the dotted line is given, but for successful production. So, this, when I am talking about the production system, like this side, this is basically that if things go successfully, things go well, then you will basically get good production, or you will produce. Now, when we talk about safety, we basically talk about accident. So, from accident point of view, everywhere there will be whoever, all the human being who are involved, either at the decision making level or the line management level or the workers level. So, there is possibility of human errors, and these human errors is basically from when it is from the decision maker level, it is latent failure. From line management level, it is latent failure. Latent means it is not when an accident has taken place, immediately you cannot find out what is the fallible decision or what is the line management deficiencies. So, you require a systematic investigation procedure, and then only through that an inquiry, and through which you will be finding out where in the what are the latent causes. So, now I can say you just see that latent failures related to management. Line management means in the operation, in the maintenance, in the training, whatever that implementation procedure that should have been prepared and followed, there may be mistake. Okay. So, all those things what will happen, this as successful work operation or successful execution will lead to precondition for production, unsuccessful execution will lead to psychological precursor of unsafe acts. For example, if your equipment is not reliable, it creates a condition that breakdown, or maybe if your equipment is not safe, it creates a condition for some unsafe conditions. If the workforce is not motivated or the workforce is not competent enough, that also lead to many latent failures which are the precursors of unsafe acts. For example, your time schedule or the work schedule is bad, it creating overload. The time given for work is less, it create over pressure time, or you want to produce more than what is basically recommended, that is over production situations. So, all those time pressure, overproduction, overload, all those similar kind of things, or maybe that unreliable equipment or maintained system. So, all those things are basically precursor to unsafe acts. Okay. If these things is not done properly, then overload, job pressure, job stress, time constraint, overproduction, so many things, ultimately it will lead to what happened, unsafe acts. And when there is an accident takes place, so you will find out these unsafe acts are very easily to identify, and that because they are active. So, that means from fallible decision, line management deficiencies, psychological precursor unsafe acts, all those are basically latent, it is not immediately visible. But unsafe acts and active failures and unsafe act is basically immediately seen when you, because one way or other it is possible to relate to the accident or whatever happened to some people. Okay. Now, there can be what happened, there are basically, it is because why unsafe acts and accident takes place, it is because of inadequate defenses. Active failures and latent failures are result of, here you are talking about the defense, proper defense, here we are talking about inadequate defense. Inadequate defense for all, for these kind of latent failures as well as active failures. So, there should be fallible decision should not have been taken. Line management should not create a situation that where overpressure or job stress will be created. So, if it is done or created, then you must know that there is a failure of the defenses or barriers, whatever way you can say. So, these from this explanation, what I wanted to put in front of you, that human errors can occur not only at the worker level, it occurs at all levels, but their activities, that their responsibilities, that their actions are different, but it can happen. So, as a result, if you analyze accident, and you will find out that there at in some of the levels in the organization, there is human involvement, and that human error is committed. So, as a result, it is very easy to, I cannot say easy, but I want to tell you that it is possible to relate accident to human error. But unfortunately, what happened that we relate accident to human error, and those humans are basically the workers who are working at the shop floor level, but that should not be the proper analysis. That is not the proper analysis. That should not be the proper way of doing things, because any accident precursor or basically when you consider the latent failures are very important. These are all long term and issues, and they have large impact in terms of accidents. By saying this, I am not saying that the worker level that failure should not be considered. That are the first step, because you are able to see them, the unsafe acts and unsafe conditions what is there, that is to be removed. Okay. So, if this is the case, so that means it basically propose a hypothesis like this: any production system, whatever may be the level of protection, there can be chances of accident, and those accidents actually can be related to human problem or human errors, and that human are not necessarily at the worker level, even at the up to the decision maker level. So, when errors are committed at the decision maker, line management level, that basically we are talking about the management level basically. So, accident, if you analyze, you can find out that 85% problem lies at the management level, maybe 15% at the shop floor level. Otherwise, so that means you have to find out the human error across all levels. When it is at the management level, then they are high level errors, and there is basically knowledge level issues. But when at the worker level, it may be the skill and rule level errors. Okay. So, all those things we will try to find out. So, now based on this, the reason has given this diagram, where it is said that basically the decision maker and line management deficiencies, this basically from there he has derived these failure types. As per his reasoning, that source type, so that means the fallible decision is the source, and because the line management actually implement the strategies and decisions made by the decision makers. So, they basically line management talks about line functions. So, these failures are function types failures. So, source type failures leads to function type failures, and then what happened, then another important terms he has used, that is failure tokens. These are failure types and failure tokens, because the precursor to unsafe act or unsafe acts what is committed by the worker at the shop floor level, or the condition what is created at the shop floor level, they are failure tokens. So, and it is because of the deficiencies of the line management, and the line management deficiencies again is basically because of the fallible decisions. So, now as a result what happen, if you want to control all those deficiencies, or you want to remove errors or recover from errors, so you require to get feedback from across all levels. First feedback will come once you have any accident takes place. So, that accident will give you feedback to the decision maker. Okay. So, that means accident, if you analyze, there is 1 week lecture on accident and investigation and analysis. There I will show you that if you analyze the accident, you will be finding out many reasons of accident, and those reasons may be a great input to the decision makers. Okay. Then you have unsafe, you will find out several unsafe acts. I am not going into telling what are those acts, I have already discussed earlier classes. So those unsafe rack, there will be checklist for unsafe rack, that checklist will be input here. Then similarly, the precursor like overload, time pressure, production pressure, so many things, those things will ultimately another feedback loop. And then line management deficiency is also feedback loop. Please remember that actually all those feedback loops, they are basically input to the fallible decisions. So because this is the source, so here if we improve, subsequently if we will definitely remove the problems. Okay. Now with with that background, I will give you some the definition of human error, that also we have taken from the same book by James Reason. Okay. So what it is said, suppose what Reason said about the error, he said that error is a generic term to encompass all those occasions in which a planned sequence of mental or physical activities failed to achieve its intended outcome. So all those occasions, planned sequence of mental or physical activities failed to achieve the intended outcome, and when these failures cannot be attributed to intervention of some other chance agency. Okay. So that means suppose you have you have a task or a particular work to be completed, and you know that what is the why this work is needed and what is the ultimate outcome if you complete the work. So there may be some kind of physical activities or some kind of mental activities are involved. So you may find out that there will be occasions when those activities are not performed or the planned they are not planned as required, and then if you analyze those outcomes, you may find out that there is no intervention of any agency involved for those fallible outcomes, then those occasions are coming under human error, and accordingly you can classify the human error. Okay. So these are basically Reason says these are the errors. Now if it is when human involvement is there, that is human error. Then another, that Nuclear Regulatory Board giving another definition, an out of tolerance action or deviation from the norm. So out of tolerance actions or deviation from the norm where the limit of acceptable performance are defined by the system. Okay. So what they further said that this situation arise problems in sequencing, timing, knowledge, interface, procedures and other sources. So this is what is the definition. Now obviously these definitions are not straightforward one to one. You have to have a case and then you know that what are the ultimate end objectives or goals, and what are the procedure to achieve those adjectival goals, and whether they are performed correctly or not, those things you have to consider. For example, you have seen the pressure tank system. So in the pressure tank system, I think you know this system. In the pressure tank system, what is the ultimate goal? End goal is what? That this tank will be filled with required amount of gas, and this gas will be the storage gas will be used by some other equipment. Now when you are filling the gas, there should not be overpressure condition, and the tank rupture should not take place from accident point of view. So that means before overpressure condition you will close the pumping, if I consider the system is this much only. So, there are some sequences starting from the that means the timer, setting the timer, then running for a preset time, if and then that will be that means normal condition, and then some cases the timer may not work, alarm will sound, operator will intervene. So, the operator intervention will and there are many issues we have discussed earlier. So, that means there is some physical activities, some mental activities involved. So, there can be out of control actions, okay, or some unplanned actions. So, those things ultimately will be treated as error. Okay. Now, let us let us see that what is the basically how do we classify the errors, or some other further description of understanding the human error. As I told you that there will be definitely prior intention to act. If I consider the operator in this pressure tank system, and if I consider that operator role only one aspect I am discussing, that when alarm sounds, operator will see the pressure gauge, and then when alarm sounds when there is overpressure condition. It is basically more likely, but from operator point of view, alarm sound, he will check the pressure gauge, and then accordingly if the pressure is high, he will basically open contact. So, what is the ultimate intention? That overpressure condition should not arise. Okay, overpressure condition should not arise. Now, what happened? That is means prior intention is tanks should be filled below the desired, just below the desired pressure. That is what I am saying, just below overpressure conditions. And to protect the overpressure condition, so that tank rupture will not take place, this is the system. So, I am talking about this system, not the entire tank, pressure tank that pump all those things. Okay. So, that means we have prior intention, and we have also different state, alarm sound, pressure check, pressure gauge, user operator must listen to alarm, must check the pressure gauge, and then contact this. So, we have intention. Intention will be time pump will be stopped, because once contact is opened, the current to pump will be stopped and pump will cease running, no more flow or no more gas input to the this tank. That is the case. So, definitely there is intention, fine, yes or no. If there is no intention, so then they are involuntary and spontaneous subsidiary actions. So, this is not our part, primarily we are not interested, but if you are interested, please go through this book, there is explanation. So, I am considering the other part. Suppose okay, intention was there, means the planning was done that to protect overpressure condition, operator will do this and this. There is a perfect planning, let it be like this, or the planning may be imperfect also. Suppose intention is there, then did the action processed as planned, when sound, this check and this. It may so happen that suppose the operator should be there around, but operator is absent, but he should be there during this charging cycle. Then this is why he is absent, it may be it is basically intentional one. Okay. So, in that case what happened, we are not considering those intentional issues. Intention means the operator knows that, worker knows that, a person knows that this is the time you have to be there and you have to perform all those things. Suppose intentionally he is not doing some of the things, then that will go to violations. Another one is that all the actions, suppose did the action process as planned? If it is yes, that means all those things done correctly. Then did the action achieve their desired end? Yes. That means pump stops, overpressure condition is arrested, that is the successful action. So, there are two issues. One is the operator has a particular goal to achieve, and in order to achieve that goal, there are some sequence of activities to be performed. Maybe somewhere it is physical activities, somewhere it is mental activities, but activities are performed and desired goal is achieved, that is the successful condition. There are other part is that the operator knows that these are the activities to be performed, but intentionally or some other reasons that is known to the operator based, so he has not done. So, that is the violation. But in between that successful operation and violation, there are human error. Okay, what are those human errors? There, the plan is known, plan is good, that means intention is, there is prior intention and accordingly intention is there, intention means for successful action, that is the case. Then the actions processed as planned, if it is no, means these things should be done, but it is not done, means the actions required is not processed as per plan, then and it is not intentional or it is not a violation, then this is unintentional actions, slip or lapse. Because of maybe when alarm sound, pressure gauge to be checked, then open the contact, it may so happen that alarm forgot to alarm sounds, but and then open the contact without seeing the pressure gauge, because pressure gauge will tell whether alarm may be false alarm. Pressure gauge is the second defense, that to protect the false alarm situation also. So, in that case some step is to be done, but not done. So, now if it is a routine type of things and then he forgot to do or he have forgot to do, there can be when this is not, the action is not performed as per plan, it will come under slip or lapses. Lapse will be basically it is related to memory, and it is not done because of forgetfulness, because lapse from the memory, otherwise it is slip. Now, suppose okay, planned are that actions are taken as planned, but the desired result is not achieved, desired not achieved, then what is the problem? Problem in the plan itself. Okay, problem in the plan itself. For example, suppose pressure gauge of it is not planned. So, alarm sound open this one. If I say that it is a pressure overpressure condition, if it is correct, and action is also done, that is a different, that is the recover issue basically. So, what I mean to say here, if there is a problem in the plan or the planning stage, so this is basically planning error and this one is execution error. Planning error and execution error. Okay. So, I hope that you got some idea, because there are basically from the regions classification point of view says that slip and lapses, and then mistakes, and then violations. Okay. So, how do you understand which one is slip, which one is lapse and which one is mistake? Which one is violation, easy to understand, and what is correct action, that is also easy to understand. So, in between successful action and violation there are errors in terms of slip and lapse, slip or lapse, or in terms of mistake. When I say slip or lapse, basically plan is correct, you have all the steps, but you forgot to do it. Suppose you require to inadvertently press a button which is not to be done. Okay, so that was the slip case. Okay. So, anyhow, so there is overlap between slip and lapse, and sometimes we also are mistaken with the mistake and lapse, all those things, but it is not as easy as I am telling here. Okay, so but you have to carefully understand it and create a case or example for it, and then try to apply this concept what I am discussing now. Okay. So, then I will give you a working definition, because that one was so that one more psychological in nature, but here it is from operator control room operator point of view, control room operator model Tessio. It was given by Bello G and Colombari V. Their model is like this. That means there are few issues. One is S, F and R. What is S? S is the input received by the operator. Okay. Then what is F? Operator transfer function. Operator will, once input is received, operator will use his brain and that processing, mental process, and then operator outputs, means operator take action, some response to the stimuli. So, with these three they have given this kind of definition. Human error occurs when the reply to input is other than best, because there is given a stimulus, there must be response, and that response should be appropriate to the stimulus, and there is a best response. So, what they are saying that reply to input to other than the best and exceed acceptable limit, it can happen in the following cases. The cases are what? The operator does not understand S, could not understand this and misinterpret it. He understand S, that means stimuli, correctly, but the relevant R is unknown, he does not know what is to be the response. S is correctly understood, R is known, but outside the operator possibilities. Maybe possibilities, maybe his competency, maybe beyond his reach or something like this. Then S is correctly understood, R is known and within the operator's possibilities, but R is carried out wrongly, response is not wrongly. Okay. So, four different situations. So, I will relate this with this pump pressure tank example, and then we. So, what is there? Case 1 takes place when an alarm sounds up, but the operator does not notice it. So, this is the way I interpreted the things. Okay. So, this example is not taken from this Bello and Colombari, that from the Bello and Colombari, this book I have taken the concept and then I put into the pressure tank example. So, if you find that it is not correct, you can raise in the discussion forum, but anyhow I think it is correct. So, error in information. So, information problem. Why I am saying error in information here? Basically, the takes place, alarm sounds up, but operator does not notice it. It may be the alarm is not sufficient enough to, maybe the sound is not sufficient enough. So, error in information. 2. Case 2 takes place. What is the case 2? Error in instruction. You just go back. Let us, sorry. What is the case 2? He understand S correctly. When stimulus is the alarm correctly, but relevant R is not known. R is response is not known. So, first one, stimulus could not understand S. Second one, understand S, but response is unknown. Third one, understand S, response is known, but the operator cannot do it. Fourth one, understand S, R is known, and operator, it is within operator possibility, but done it wrongly. 4 different cases. So, second case, error in instruction. The takes the play, operator hears the alarm, but forgot to stop the pump. Third case takes place when the operator is aware that he must stop the pump, but does not have sufficient time to do so. Error in organization. Error in organization or error in decisional process. So, he hear this, then check the pressure gauge, and then he has gone for this one, removing the contact, but this entire process takes more time. So, that is why the overpressure condition is not arrested. Case 4, that takes place when the operator knows what to do and has sufficient time to do it, but he pressed the wrong button. So, error in operation. Instead of maybe removing opening the contact, he might have pressed something wrong, which ultimately does not remove the contact. Okay. So, this is what is basically the definition of error, and the precursors. So, what we have started with this. So, what we have completed, I have given you this one, I will given you this Schaefer operation, then generic definition of error and working definition of error. Okay. So, I hope that you have understood this. Primarily I have given you the concept with one example, and you create your own example, that I am requesting several times you create your own example. So, then essentially what I have discussed, I said that we are discussing human error with reference to safety and primarily industrial safety, where many people work, and this human error contributes a lot to the accident, because the human error is not only the operator's error, it is error up to the strategic level, the decision maker, the boss of a company. So, in the organizational hierarchy, starting from the top level management, then line management, and then the worker. So, everywhere there are different, somewhere decisions, somewhere implementation, somewhere execution. So, everywhere human involvement are there, and there are errors. So, those errors can be classified in different ways. Only one classification we have given in terms of that. One is the intentional, which is basically violation. Another, and in between violation and successful actions, there are human error in terms of slip or lapse or mistake. Slip or lapse means when you do any activity or any work, there is end goal, and in order to achieve the end goal, you have series of activities, either physical or mental, to be performed. Suppose you have committed errors in planning all those activities, then that will be mistake. But suppose the planning is correct, but the person who is executing it, he committed some of the steps, maybe because of it will go to sleep or lapse. When you talk about lapse, the memory component is important, because lapse from the memory. And then I have given you another definition from that response stimuli response model. What happened? There are 4 conditions we created, that stimuli understood, stimuli not understood, action taken correctly, action not taken correctly, or response correctly, response not correctly. Okay. So, these are the different ways of basically understanding errors, and with reference to pressure tank system we have tried to understand it. The references, as I said, listed here, primarily region, and then I have given you this Bellow CG and Columbari B 1980, and there are few more references which will the use of all those references will be seen in the next lecture. Thank you.